Welcome back, readers. Last week you did a great job thinking about the setting of the novel. This week we're going to be focusing on the tone and the mood. So tone is the way you are told information. Think tone of voice. We've talked about this in school. Whenever I think about tone, I think about my mom. And the reason why is growing up, there were days at home where my mom would boss us around to do chores, and she would say things like, "Get those dishes out of the sink," or "Clean up the dirty clothes on your floor." And I would claim that my mom's tone in that situation was stern. I could probably come up with other words for it, but we'll just go with that. She was communicating with a stern tone. Readers, just like I identified my mom's tone as stern, whenever we analyze the tone of a writer, we want to find a precise word to describe it. We want to pinpoint in what way is the author or the narrator communicating. So the first section you're going to read this week is pages 46 to 61. And for notebook entry number 7, you'll write a paragraph analyzing the tone of the poem in that section. I'd like to give you a little heads up about this section. There are some pretty sad parts coming your way, so they might be a little bit hard to read. So I'm here for you. If you are saddened by this part of the text, please reach out to me. I totally get it. All right, students, so let's do this work together using the first poem you'll read in the section for the first part this week, titled Dust and Rain. I'm going to model how to write your paragraph about tone using this poem, but you must choose a different poem to analyze for your entry number 7. So as we read, the process is listed here on the right. We're going to underline 3 words or phrases that express the narrator's tone. So I'll show you how to do that, and you're going to do it in a different poem for your entry number 7. Then we're going to choose a strong, precise word to describe the tone, and then I'll show you what the paragraph will look like. So dust and rain. On Sunday, winds came, bringing a red dust like prairie fire, hot and peppery, searing the inside of my nose, the whites of my eyes, roaring dust, turning the day from sunlight to midnight. And as the dust left, rain came, rain that was no blessing. I'm going to stop there and underline my first phrase that I think expresses the narrator's tone, and that is, as the dust left, rain came, rain that was no blessing. It came too hard, too fast, and washed the soil away, washed the wheat away with it. Now little remains of Daddy's hard work. I think that's another phrase that expresses the tone. And the only choice he has is to give up or start all over again. At the Strong Ranch, they didn't get a single drop, so who fared better? Ma looks out the window at her apple trees. Hard green balls have dropped to the ground, but there are enough left, enough for a small harvest if we lose no more. I'm going to underline that last phrase there. And what we want to do for the next part of this strategy, number 2, is choose a strong, precise word to describe the tone, looking at those 3 examples. So from those 3 examples, what I'm noticing, and I want to choose a strong word. I don't want to say sad or happy, words that would probably first come to mind. Think a little bit further than that. So of course, this seems pretty sad just generally, but I want to go with a stronger word, and I'm going to think it's probably pretty despairing, meaning she seems to have lost all hope right now. So I'm going to describe her tone as despairing. Now my next step is to write that paragraph proving why I think her tone is despairing. And I'm going to use those 3 examples that I highlighted in number 1. Now here's what that looks like. All right, so you're going to start by using a sentence like this where you state the title of the poem and what you think the tone is. So in the poem Dust and Rain, Billy Joe's tone is despairing, and just to clarify, that means showing loss of all hope. Then you go straight into your examples. The first example of a despairing tone is when she says, as the dust left, rain came, rain that was no blessing. That's taken straight from the first example that I chose. It's not enough to just state the example. You have to go further and explain how does that prove your claim about the tone. So I say for Billy Joe to describe rain as no blessing after complaining about wanting rain for so long, you can tell she's upset and depressed by the situation. I'm going further with explaining why it's despairing and using different words to express that. Next example of a despairing tone is when Billy Joe says, "Now little remains of Daddy's hard work." There's my next example. Going further with my explanation, I have to have at least one sentence of analysis. She is very negative here, expressing her sadness over the destruction that the weather caused. Finally, Billy Joe ends the poem by saying there will be enough apples left if we lose no more. It's as if she anticipates losing more and expects to be disappointed rather than happy. That points to my despairing tone, my claim. Therefore, her tone is despairing throughout the entire poem. So I just wrap it up there with a concluding sentence. In entry number 7, I actually give you this paragraph as an example, but because you're doing it for a different poem and not Dust and Rain, which I just did, here's the template that you can use. It's pretty basic, and the place that it falls short is where it gives the same sort of sentence stem for your analysis, but hey, it's a good place to start. If you don't use the template, make sure you have all the same components that the template has. Otherwise, you won't get full credit for this. As always, please reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. I'm excited to see what tone you guys pick out for the poem that you decide to focus on. And again, beware, there are some sad parts coming your way, but I am here to support you through them if you need it. Have fun with this, and I'll talk to you soon.